In 1750, Dr. Thomas Walker led an expedition from Virginia looking for lands further west to settle. Walker noted in his journal,
"Still cloudy. We kept down the creek to the river along the Indian Road to where it crosses. Indians have lived about this ford some years ago."
Walker's detailed report of the expedition would prove to be an invaluable tool for later expeditions, including Daniel Boone's. Walker named the Cumberland River for Prince William, the Duke of Cumberland, son of King George II. Around 1770, Richard Henderson commissioned Daniel Boone to build a route, which would be called Boone Trace, through Cumberland Gap and north into Kentucky. Before being widened in the 1790s, Boone Trace wasn't large enough for wagon travel. In its history, the path into Kentucky would know different names. A 1784 map of Kentucky labeled the road from the old settlements through the great wilderness. It would be referred to as the Wilderness Road as early as 1796. We still travel parts of this historic path today. In 1915, it would become part of US 25E. Pineville is located just off US 25E on the Cumberland River, where it winds through Pine Mountain. Pineville was originally known as Cumberland Ford when it was settled in 1781. In the days of the trailblazing pioneers and Indian fighters, Cumberland Ford would see men such as Dill Asher and Daniel Boone. The community developed at a natural crossing point on the Cumberland River at a gap in Pine Mountain. This area is known as the Narrows and presented a secure path to cross for the many pioneers seeking new lands to settle and a stop for traders and hunters. The Warrior's Path, an ancient trail along which Native Americans waged their wars, also crossed at this point. May 20th, 1861, Kentucky Governor McGuffin issued a proclamation of neutrality, warning both Union and Confederate forces to keep off Kentucky soil. However, such a position to remain neutral would not stand. By August, recruitment was already active at Camp Robinson in Girard County for the Union. In September, General Zollicoffer brought 5,000 Confederate troops through the Cumberland Gap. During the war, Cumberland Ford had launched several expeditions to drive out Confederate forces from southeast Kentucky. Shortly after the war, Bell County would be formed in 1867. Cumberland Ford became known as Pineville in 1870 and was made county seat.
For the North, it was merely the high road to East Tennessee where dwelt a loyal and oppressed people, seeking deliverance from the Confederacy which they had opposed. For the South, the mountain defile of Kentucky were the gateway to the bluegrass of Kentucky where the population, it believed, was loyal to its cause.
Kentucky is synonymous with coal mining. Bell County began its coal mining journey with the Bosse coal mine. The Louisville and Nashville Railroad was extended from Corbin to Pineville in 1888. The Bosse mine opened 1 year after the expansion of the railroad. The boom created by the L&N Railroad reaching Pineville brought prosperity to the area, including the construction of a courthouse, office buildings, a school building, and many other structures. December 26, 1945, an explosion in a coal mine at the nearby 4 Mile community left 31 miners trapped 2 miles underground. Rescue efforts went on for days. Eventually, 8 miners would be brought out alive. However, one would die hours later in the Pineville hospital. Being so close to the Cumberland River has left Pineville inundated by flooding throughout its history. Including a devastating incident in 1977 in which a flood wall built in 1952 was overwhelmed, leading the town of Pineville to suffer severe damage. At Pineville State Resort Park, you can find the fascinating chain rock whose story dates back to the early 1900s. Pineville is as rich in beauty as it is in history. Next time you pass through, be sure to stop and pay a visit.